mismanaging plastic waste today. And a lot of plastic that we are generating today is already being collected by the informal recyclers. However, the big challenge is we are unable to mainline the use of recycled plastic. The idea is, how can you put recycled plastic in everyday products that you use and people can touch and feel those products? For example, if you pick up a shampoo bottle or a lotion bottle, if you feel that your discarded plastic actually is recycled by somebody and used back in mainstream products and manufacturing, that is how a consumer gets like the real feel for the product. And that's really our job. In terms of the business model itself, we work with informal recyclers. They collect discarded plastic based on our specifications. We recycle them in our facility in Hyderabad, and we do a thorough job of recycling it. And we produce really high quality recycled granules. The more virgin plastic you use and dispose, the more plastic waste you have to manage. And mismanagement is actually what leads to the leakage of these materials into the water bodies and our lands and so on and so forth. So the good news for all entrepreneurs today is there is a huge demand. I mean, companies are already acting upon it, and there is a global commitment to use more and more recycled plastic. Just in India alone, we see that in the next 5 years, or if, by 2025, there's going to be demand for over 500,000 tons.
So we've come up with this platform. We've done a typical material flow chart, which you can see at the bottom. What this platform will do is assure complete traceability. And there is going to be absolutely no question on the reliability in terms of all the documentation that needs to be made available for managing one's waste. It basically tracks your waste from the source to the destination. And it has the entire set of documentation which you can use to prove your traceability. Very interestingly, traceability can come across as the stick. However, there is another concept called ethical sourcing. Obviously, if you look at any industry, it is 100% ethical. Most of the industries that are well established and that are seen as large economy generators are most of the time formal, right? However, in waste management, there is no ethical approach in the sense of compliance is met, in the sense of basic needs, social security to everyone involved in the supply chain, etc. So this particular concept of ethical sourcing can be proven through this kind of a traceability. So that was the first aspect that I would like to introduce on how we can use technology through a traceability platform to ensure one takes ownership of their waste. These kind of data points will help us to actually enable a very adaptive waste management system. For example, if I were to supply these HDP bottles to someone, I can tell them the various data points around the waste that we have captured, which will help us understand a lot more about the source of waste and will help the recyclers to get more confidence and adapt to these kind of conditions on the ground. So we on the ground who are managing waste enable our staff to work effectively as well. For example, there is a bottle which has a blue color PVC label. Most people, unskilled staff would probably identify that as a blue bottle. However, it's white inside. This machine learning technology would be able to identify this. Now, again, we're not displacing manpower here. We're actually facilitating them with better know-how of plastic. And like we heard earlier, plastics is very complicated.
The overall economy size which is involved in recycling in Dharavi is estimated to be around $1 billion. And all of this happens in some 15,000 or so factories, which are almost like one-room factories, two-room factories. Some of the conditions, again, which were shown by photographs, are really like one-room factories. But all of this together actually achieves around 80% of waste in India being recycled, as opposed to 45% in countries like UK. You can take these parallels to also other countries, and one would really see that this entire way in which waste recycling takes place is in a context where the notion or the ideas of circular economy, of extended producer responsibility have actually just been introduced, and they are largely confined to the startup world. So, in some ways, these informal waste recyclers are really the champions or the pioneers in this entire aspect of recycling.
It is a lot of people, a lot of labor and livelihood that should also be at the center of the system. So, whilst jobs is becoming one of the big issues, we do believe that for every ton of waste that is recovered and recycled, you will create jobs not just at the bottom of the pyramid, but also jobs for people, professionals, as you can see even in our own team, where we have a team of 250 people from the base of the pyramid and 50 people, professionals from various different sectors. EHS practices more visibility on what they do with waste which has less value. I would like to see both sides kind of move into professional waste management systems. And when we are saying professional waste management systems, we are saying that we believe in complete resource recovery. We are seeing that everybody gets paid and is taken care of on all aspects.